Previously, on Tales of the Vail, it started with my dog talking. Then I found out I'm some kind of long-lost magic architect. And then a glowing mechanical kitten plunged me into a villain's traumatic past. Next stop? Apparently, the Vail door.
One must keep up, dear girl. The universe, it seems, has decided your previous level of normal was simply unacceptable.
Apparently, though I suspect you had something to do with the universe's new, exceedingly peculiar design choices.
This is Tales of the Vail. Chapter 4, Echoes in the Code.
We didn't leave right away. Not because we weren't ready. More like the flat wasn't ready to let us go. The Vail was leaving breadcrumbs, I guess. Or maybe it was just showing off. Every system felt off. My coffee maker was insisting it could brew espresso from starlight. My smart photo display kept showing old pictures of cats and dogs I'd never had, their eyes occasionally flickering with arcane glyphs. It wasn't just a glitch anymore. It was deliberate and utterly infuriating for a systems engineer who prides herself on stable networks. I spent a frustrating hour trying to just use my toaster, which had started demanding philosophical debates on the nature of crispy bread. I reflashed its firmware 3 times. Guess that's what I get for picking up the latest so-called smart toaster. Checked every circuit. Even tried a hard reboot. Nothing. It just kept glowing with a faint blue light and asking about light versus medium crispiness levels. It was like living in a code base that someone had decided to write backwards, purely out of spite.
Some things are not meant to be debugged, Aerin, merely observed,
says the former spy dog who never had to deal with a smart fridge trying to unionize with the coffee maker.
Trust me, dear girl. I've seen far stranger rebellions.
The Vail is learning your patterns. It responds to your energy. Your efforts to stabilize, they make it stronger here.
Bite's observation wasn't exactly comforting. The map he carried, it wasn't just glowing. It was calling. Not like GPS directions or turn-by-turn nav. This was deeper, a current, a pull. Like some part of me already knew where we were going before my brain caught up. Like a quantum breadcrumb trail I couldn't quite see. Archie, meanwhile, was preparing for the impending adventure with all the enthusiasm of a tax audit. He stuffed what he called essentials into a weathered canvas satchel. Essentials apparently included an ancient monocle, 3 types of tea, seriously, 3 different types, a tin of biscuits, strictly for morale, he insisted, salt, for obscure magical properties, or maybe just to make sure things tasted good, and a rune-marked flask he steadfastly refused to explain, simply referring to it as medicinal spirits.
Best be prepared. You never know what sort of nonsense a half-tuned Vail anchor might throw at us. Might even need to toss salt over your shoulder for luck. Or to rewire a static charge in a pinch. You never know when it'll come in handy for the right flavor. One does have a reputation to maintain.
It's not far.
What's not far, Bite? The nearest coffee shop that actually makes sense?
The door to the next aperture.
Don't get your hopes up. Not far can be deceptive when reality bends like warm toffee, and the short way is often the one riddled with existential dread, not to mention rogue squirrels.
I could tell Bite was ready to get going like yesterday. while Archie probably could have prepared forever. Still, we did get going just moments later. Down the back stairwell, through the utility hallway, past a flickering, humming light fixture that sounded suspiciously like it was murmuring ancient poetry, and out into the rain-soaked alley behind the house. The world outside wasn't broken, but it wasn't quite right either. Streetlights pulsed with faint glyph flickers, their light subtly off-kilter. Raindrops stuttered in midair for half a second longer than physics would allow, almost like a lagging video stream. The Vail wasn't just stirring, it was watching. Every pixel felt observed. Every shadow felt like it could be alive. We followed Bite down various streets for what felt like hours, but was actually only a little over 30 minutes before he turned into an alleyway and slowed, saying,
"We're close."
After another 5 minutes or so, it began to narrow, funneling us toward an underpass I could see faintly through the rain and fog ahead. Each step began to feel heavy, as if the air itself were thickening. The hum of Bite's paw now a distinct beat against the background weirdness that was matched by a thrum I could feel through my smartwatch, guiding us. The pulse in my watch made it feel less like a device and more like an extension of my nerve endings, now directly connected from my wrist to my arm and straight to my heart. Okay, Bite, where next? Straight ahead? Or is a detour needed? Because my brain is starting to compile some very questionable algorithms.
Straight ahead, just beyond that underpass. The signature is strongest there, and it's ready for us.
Of course it's under a bridge. Nothing good ever starts above ground anymore. One always expects the worst from an underpass, and is rarely disappointed, especially when it smells vaguely of forgotten magic and wet cardboard.
The closer we got, the more the world frayed. Glitches in sound and space became more frequent, like walking through a willow tree after a rainstorm. The feel of rain drops brushed against me, hanging heavy and solid in the air even though they should have been falling past to the ground. A distant siren would warp into a distorted melody, then snap back. Patches of brick on the underpass wall would shimmer, showing faint, fleeting glimpses of glowing circuitry beneath. Bite's paw lit brighter, radiating a faint, complex hum that seemed to calm the immediate distortions. My own skin felt oddly buzzy, like stepping into a weak electromagnetic field, the hairs on my arms prickling. It was like living in a low-resolution simulation, and the resolution was steadily dropping.
There, that wall, the convergence point.
It looks like nothing, just brick and moss. A suspicious lack of graffiti, perhaps, but still just a wall.
To you, maybe. But you're not looking with the full powers of the Vail. Not yet. This particular door is quite subtle, designed for those who seek the ordinary, then stumble into the extraordinary. A common misdirection, actually.
Bite stepped forward, his mechanical paw clicking softly against the wet pavement, then pressed it to the center of the moss-cloaked wall. The wall shimmered, then cracked and opened. Not physically, more like a filter being lifted from a camera lens, a doorway made of memory and pattern, like staring into a kaleidoscope of impossible realities. The air beyond felt both ancient and alive. It hit my lungs suddenly, like breathing in the icy air the first time you step into the server room.
Anchor confirmed. Passage available. But the signature, it's stronger here than I expected.
I smell something. Not good. We're being watched. And it's not just a trace now. It's very close by.
A prickle ran up my spine, colder than the rain. The air tasted faintly of ozone, like before a storm, but I also felt a subtle shift in the ambient frequencies around us, a dissonance my tech brain picked up instinctively. Every sense was screaming at me that this wasn't just a physical space, it was something much more. I feel it too. A presence. It's not really physical, is it? It feels like someone or something. Like a data packet looking for a port, and it just found one.
Correct. Not a who, but a what. Wisp-class construct. Maybe more than a basic one at that. And they're fast. This one's studying us. Let's make this quick.
The inside of the relic site was unexpected. A mosaic of crumbling infrastructure and floating code. It wasn't a temple or a tomb. It was a structural ghost, a remnant of something once whole, a spatial diagram encoded in the memory of the Vail itself, a memory print from when the Vail was still stable. It felt like walking through the ghost of a server farm that had once powered a forgotten god. Dust motes floated in currents of pure light. The air smelled even more strongly of ozone, and now of something from forgotten time. The very silence hummed with dormant power.
Fragmented, but intact enough to hold a signature, seraphine's, and a trace of another presence, faint, older.
Well, don't just stand there, Veilborn. What's your instinct say? Try sinking gently, but be quick about it. My nose is telling me we're not alone in here, and this place feels like a trap laid by an old friend.
Okay, let's see. This was all so new to me, but somehow I seem to be rapidly remembering without having actually ever learned what to do. My watch is syncing. I think it's aligning with the pattern. Just give it a second. It's like trying to connect to a server with ancient, unpatched protocols, but the server does seem to be whispering code back at me. A warm shiver ran through my spine. Not painful, electric. A pulse of soft, arcane light came from my watch. Then I felt an undeniable click as the pattern aligned. Glyphs rearranged. A quick pulse of static ran up the back of my neck through my scalp. Once again, a single name embedded in the data throughout. Seraphine. But deeper than that this time. A question rang through. And an instruction. A lingering presence that felt cold, precise, and utterly compelling. White had been right when he said something was different here. This wasn't just a site. It was a data cache, and I was downloading it. It feels layered, like she left something buried here, waiting for someone to unlock it. A message for me, maybe? Or a trap that activates when someone with my signature walks in.
She used this site, coded here, changed something vital. This is a broadcast point, a data nexus she repurposed. It's an active server.
Not just changed, corrupted. This site's been rewritten, and if it's a message, it's likely riddled with malware, or a very unpleasant worm looking for a new host.
As I reached out again, my fingers brushed a faint indentation on the glowing wall, and something shimmered. Not just on the surface, but deeper in my mind. For just a moment, a cascade of abstract images, raw data, and pure emotion flowed through me. It wasn't a narrative vision like the last time, but a chaotic, overwhelming surge of information. It was Seraphine's signature, yes, but also a warning. A sudden spike of pure data, cold as ice, followed by a fleeting image of a single, watchful eye. Whoa, it's singing.
Singing? What in blazes are you on about, Aerin?
The Vail. It's making humming sounds like it's communicating. I mean, it's likely just processing, but it feels like a song. A really unsettling, ancient song. What happens when the Vail sings? That's when the data packet I'd felt like I'd been downloading suddenly solidified within. I seemed to be transported and could hear the remnants of a long-past conversation.
It's true. The old legends say the Vail, it sings. Not in words, but in resonance. They say it's how the architects, how they built with it.
Nonsense, initiate. The Vail is a network, a system. It hums with energy. It doesn't sing. Those sounds? That's just a change in processing power, not a sonnet. You leave the poetry to the romantics, and the protocols to us, initiate.
But what if the song is a message, a discordant one?
The sounds of that ancient conversation faded away as quickly as they came. I looked over at Archie and Bite, who were now standing together, apparently deciphering some glyphs in the center of the room. Did you two hear that? That wasn't just a song. That was a warning.
A warning? What are you talking about, Aerin? You're seeing things, and hearing them now. Focus.
He began pacing off the chamber in ever-expanding spirals. The Vail's hum intensified, vibrating through the chamber. Far off, a rhythmic flicker began, faint, like a scanning beam growing in intensity. A low, persistent sound, taking on a deep, almost predatory beat. That's when I saw it, or at least sort of did. At the far edge of the chamber, just barely visible in the Vail light, a shape. It wasn't exactly there, and yet not quite not. It floated in and out of perception like a bad memory, dressed in strands of threadbare light and flickering code. It seemed to expand and contract, its form shifting with the ambient light, testing the boundaries of its visibility. It was scanning us, methodically.
It is a wisp, and you were right, Archie. Not just any wisp. This one's learning, scanning our harmonics, listening to our threads.
Of course it is. Seraphine doesn't waste energy on toys. She sent something smart, adaptive, dangerous, something that takes notes and reports back.
What does it want? Is it hostile?
Not yet. It's tracking patterns, movement, energy, echoes we leave behind, like breadcrumbs through static. And it's learning how to follow them. It's close to understanding how we move and where we'll go next. It's mapping our very presence. And yours, Vailborn.
The wisp pulsed again, casting 3 beams outward, scanning in perfect triangulation. It hovered closer to the last glyph I touched, flickered, and echoed my voice back in distorted fragments. My own words, twisted and alien, like listening to a corrupted audio file of my soul.
What happens when the Vail sings?
Copying, calibrating. It's building a comprehensive profile. It knows your energy signature, Aerin. We need to go now.
It's mapped this site as well. It's compiling data fast, but I can delay it. I'll jam its short-range memory.
You'll fry your circuits doing that, little one.
Only the non-essential ones. Besides, mission first, stand clear.
What did you do?
Encrypted our thread line, overwrote our last minutes of conversation and activities within this node. It'll buy us time to escape and should make it harder for Seraphine to get any intelligence out of what occurred here.
Then let's move, and make sure we're gone before it reboots and finishes compiling our data streams, and before Seraphine gets the full, unredacted report.
I scooped up Bite. He was visibly drained, the powerful pulse from his paw leaving his glyphs muted and legs trembling. And yet a soft, self-satisfied purr vibrated through his tiny body. Archie released a deep, rumbling growl that I felt more than heard. its low frequency vibrating through the very air. The Vail door pulsed open with a soft groan in response. As we stepped through, I couldn't help but glance back. The wisp hovered there, distorted, glitching, but not fully deactivated. It seemed to still be watching, and it felt like I was leaving a part of myself behind. A data trail for an unseen predator who now knew far more than just my name. It seemed to take even longer to get home than it had to get to the anchor site. But at last, I was able to stop looking over my shoulder and open the door to my flat. The moment we stepped inside, though, something felt wrong. The air had the same heavy weight I was feeling earlier when we were walking near the underpass. And then, like thick static before a lightning strike, the house wasn't just glitching. It was twitching, unstable, watching. Every circuit, every appliance, every piece of technology groaned under the strain of an invisible force. The hot water kettle whistled a tune that sounded like ancient lament. Okay, am I the only one seeing and hearing this? My fridge sounds like it's trying to communicate in Morse code, and I think my smart thermostat is contemplating the heat death of the universe.
Oh no, love. Welcome to your first Vail destabilization. 1 star. Would not recommend. It seems our departure from the conduit has reverberated, rather violently.
Bite's paw glowed in a rapid pulse. Archie's monocle and collar did as well in tantric rhythm, and through the windows I saw streetlights blinking in sequence, their light throwing shadows into strange geometric shapes that morphed and danced across the walls. The ripple didn't stop at the walls. It spread. My neighbor's car alarm chirped a Vail-coded tune. Somewhere down the block, a speaker system rebooted and muttered something in a language I didn't know, then laughed. A cold, digital chuckle that echoed off the rain-slicked pavement in sequence down between the houses. The very air around us felt like it was made of faulty data, attempting to infect anything and everything it could embed.
The anchor is overloading. This frequency, it's too much. She's watching this. She's causing this. She's pushing it.
Seraphine?
Doesn't matter who, you two. Focus on what. We need to stabilize the thread. Now, Aerin, or this house becomes a permanent Vail anomaly. Think of it like a system crash on a massive scale.
How? I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's all just noise, a feedback loop of shitstorm.
Use your watch. Look through it, not at it. Focus on the pulse. Match it. You're the balance point. You're the only one who can tune the frequency, Vailborn. It's in your blood, girl. Trust yourself and the salt.
Earlier, I debugged the toaster. And the salt? Are you serious, Archie? Is this a magical cooking show now?
Salt's conductive in the Vail, or at the very least symbolic enough to convince the anomalies to settle down. Toss it in spiral lines and start sweet-talking the anomaly, like it's a network you're trying to coax back online.
Now!
I began muttering to myself as I fumbled with the tin of salt Archie had just tossed to me as smoothly as he used to catch the tennis balls I'd throw for him back when life was, well, not whatever the hell this was. Sure, why not? Just another Thursday, where I argue with my dog about occult seasonings for reality, while the world melts into code strings.
Oh, on your signal, Vailborn. Quick!
I poured salt in spiral lines around me. Then I lifted my watch. The screen flashed, then aligned. Glyphs shimmered into a live grid, unstable, twisting on one side, but the other almost looked like a unique keyboard that I could suddenly understand. My breath caught as I realized what I had to do. I pushed back against the feedback loop, forcing a reset through instinct and code.
Now!
Destruction pulse. Engaged.
The world snapped back. The lights dimmed, then steadied. Outside, the rain returned to normal. The glyphs on the wall faded. My watch stopped vibrating. Bite's paw cooled. The hum was gone. Just like that. The silence that followed felt heavy, like a system after a hard reset, and the air smelled faintly of burnt toast and ancient magic.
The anchor stabilized. For now.
We did it? Ha. I think I just fixed a dimension with table salt, a magical dog bark, and a cat purr.
Look around. No portals. No possessed kitchen equipment. I'd call that a win, though my throat might argue otherwise, and my ancient bones.
Don't forget the salt lines. Really ties the whole room together. Adds a certain occult chic. Maybe I should pitch it to a home decor blog.
Next time, maybe I'll bring pepper, just in case we need to season reality back into shape. Or perhaps paprika for a touch of dramatic flair.
Oh, Archie, I sighed with a half giggle. I leaned back against the wall, breathing hard. Everything was still, but not calm, not yet. My watch blinked and I was able to translate the glyphs to door, open, anchor, active, surveillance, confirmed.
She saw us. She knows we're moving. She was testing you, and she liked what she saw, which, by the way, is not a good thing.
As he was saying this, the glyphs on my watch screen changed and a new symbol appeared, one I had not seen before. A glyph shaped like an eye, split down the center, pulsing with a vibrant icy blue light. What the hell?
Seraphine's left a signature trace. That's not just observation. It's a mark, a lock, and a message.
Then it's time for us to move faster, before her next test. Or, as Aerin so aptly called it, her next peculiar design choice.
Across a realm not bound by streets or skies, the signal arrived. The Wisp had seen enough, heard enough, recorded enough, and now the fractured air around it shimmered as its data fed upward to its architect.
Target sequence entered. Vailborn confirmed. Guardian active. Fragment awakened. Interaction with Node 3 Theta complete. Threadline destabilized and restored. Instability nominal. Response adaptive. What happens when the Vail sings?
So she remembers nothing, and yet touches everything. Curious. The relic harmonized, and the house sang. The song is not yet complete, but she is tuning. The kitten delivered more than code. The girl adapts faster than expected, far too quickly. Adjust parameters, increase instability across adjacent districts. Let her feel what balance costs. Let her dance. Let them chase echoes. We have time now, and time bends best when tethered to memory. Soon the symphony will be mine.
And so, with nothing more than a flicker, the wisp dissolved into signal and ash. The message delivered. The hunt, still very much alive.
The game's definitely started now. And Seraphine? She didn't just find us. She marked us. This wasn't just a test. It was an invitation. And somehow, I think we just accepted.
Right then. That's enough excitement for one day, or for some of us, for one lifetime. Until our next venture, trust your instincts. And if a piece of technology starts offering unsolicited life advice, unplug it. Immediately. As for me, always keep a biscuit handy. You never know when one might need a strategic nap, or a quick escape from a vengeful toaster. New chapters of Tales of the Vail drop every week. Do subscribe, won't you? Wouldn't want you to miss out. Besides, it helps cover the biscuit and quantum tuna budget.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.